The first snowflakes of winter fell on December 12, 2001, blanketing early Iowa in a pristine white. The town, usually bustling with the sounds of daily life, was now muffled under a thick layer of snow. The streets were empty, the houses silent, as if the entire town was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The silence of the morning was shattered by a piercing sound. Gunshots. The echoes of the shots reverberated through the still air, sending a wave of shock and fear through the hearts of the townspeople. The quaint farmhouse at 2248 Ira Avenue became the epicenter of a mystery that would haunt the town for years to come. The once peaceful home was now a crime scene, its serenity replaced by the flashing lights of police cars and the hushed whispers of investigators. Inside, a scene of chaos awaited. Furniture was overturned, papers were scattered, and the air was thick with the scent of fear and violence. It was clear that a struggle had taken place, a desperate fight for survival. Blood stained the floor, a grim tableau of a struggle gone terribly wrong. The crimson pools told a story of pain and desperation, of a life cut short in a moment of terror. The victim, 20-year-old Dustin Wade, a gentle soul known for his love of computers and his quiet demeanor. He was a young man with dreams and aspirations, a life full of potential that was brutally taken away. His body lay sprawled on the floor, life brutally extinguished. The sight was a stark contrast to the peaceful snowfall outside, a reminder of the fragility of life. Standing amidst the chaos was Tracy Richter, the homeowner, her voice trembling as she recounted a chilling tale of a home invasion gone wrong. Her eyes were wide with fear, her hands shaking as she described the terrifying events that had unfolded. Two intruders, she claimed, had stormed her home, their faces hidden, their intentions dark. They had come in the dead of night, bringing with them a nightmare that would forever change the lives of those in the small town of early Iowa. 911, what's your emergency? The operator's voice crackled through the phone, a lifeline in the midst of chaos. Please, hurry, they're trying to kill us. The voice on the other end was frantic, filled with sheer terror. Tracy Richter's voice, thick with panic, painted a terrifying picture for the dispatcher. Her words were a desperate plea for help, each syllable dripping with fear. Two masked intruders, she claimed, had forced their way into her home, their motives unknown. The thought of strangers invading her sanctuary was horrifying. She spoke of a struggle, of her life, flashing before her eyes as one of the assailants wrapped pantyhose around her neck, choking the air from her lungs. The sensation of suffocation was overwhelming, a fight for survival. Dustin, her neighbor, hearing the commotion, rushed to her aid, only to become another victim of the invaders. His bravery was met with violence, turning the situation even more dire. Tracy, fearing for her life and that of her children, grabbed her husband's gun and fired, desperately trying to stop the attackers. Her hands trembled, but her resolve was unshakable. She knew she had to protect her family at all costs. News of the home invasion and Dustin's death spread through the small town like wildfire. The brutality of the crime sent shockwaves through the community, leaving residents reeling in fear and disbelief. Tracy Richter, thrust into the spotlight, became an object of both sympathy and scrutiny. Her story, a terrifying ordeal of survival, captivated the town. Yet beneath the surface of fear and grief, whispers of doubt began to circulate. Discrepancies in Tracy's story, subtle inconsistencies in her account of the events, fueled speculation. Was she truly a victim, or was there more to the story than met the eye? Born Tracy Ann Richter in May 1966, her life was a tapestry woven with threads of both promise and turmoil. A bright student with a passion for healthcare, she pursued a career in radiography, her intelligence and determination evident. She met and married John Pittman, their early years seemingly filled with love and hope. But behind the facade of normalcy, cracks began to appear. Accusations of erratic behavior surfaced, whispers of financial impropriety and a volatile temper. Tracy's life, once a picture of middle-class normalcy, began to unravel, revealing a darker, more complex portrait. Section 5. A Father's Grief. Brett Wade, Dustin's father, was a man shattered. The loss of his son, a cruel twist of fate, sent him spiraling into a pit of despair. Dustin, his gentle giant, was gone, his life cut tragically short. The pain was unbearable, a constant ache in Brett's heart. He grappled with the unimaginable, the senselessness of it all. Tracy Richter's story, the tale of a home invasion and his son's heroic attempt to save her, provided little solace. The doubts, the whispers gnawed at him, amplifying his grief with a burning need for answers. Section 6. Seeds of Doubt. The initial investigation, clouded by the shock of the crime and Tracy Richter's compelling narrative, seemed to support her claims of self-defense. The case was closed, the tragedy seemingly resolved. However, for some, the pieces didn't quite fit. The lack of forced entry, a curious detail that nagged at investigators. The positioning of Dustin's body not aligning with Tracy's account of the struggle. These inconsistencies, initially dismissed as insignificant details, began to take on a sinister significance as time went on. Section 7. The Notebook. Years passed, the tragedy fading into a painful memory for many. But for those closest to Dustin, the quest for truth continued. Then a discovery, a twist of fate that would breathe new life into the investigation. A pink notebook filled with childish handwriting surfaced, its contents a chilling revelation. A hit list penned in a language that hinted at a child's innocence, yet spoke of violence and revenge. The names on the list sent chills down the spines of investigators. John Pittman, Tracy's ex-husband, his name prominent among the others. Was this the missing piece, the clue that would unravel the truth? At Section 8, Web of Lies, the discovery of the notebook, the alleged hit list, cast a long shadow of suspicion over Tracy Richter. The investigation, once closed, was reopened, this time with a renewed focus and a growing sense of urgency. The authorities dug deeper, peeling back the layers of Tracy's life, uncovering a pattern of manipulation and deceit. Her past, once viewed through a lens of sympathy, now appeared as a series of calculated moves, a trail of destruction left in her wake. The accusations of sexual abuse against her ex-husband, the alleged theft from his parents, all pointed to a pattern of deception. Section 9. A Mother's Fight. On July 27, 2011, nearly a decade after Dustin Vader's life was tragically cut short, Tracy Richter was arrested. The arrest sent shockwaves through the small community, as many had believed her initial story of self-defense. The narrative that had once painted her as a protective mother was now being questioned, and the truth seemed more elusive than ever. Charged with first-degree murder, she faced a jury of her peers, the weight of evidence and suspicion mounting against her. The courtroom was tense, every eye fixed on Tracy as she sat stoic and resolute, listening to the charges being read. The prosecution aimed to dismantle the image of a desperate mother protecting her children, instead portraying her as a cold-blooded killer. The trial was a media sensation, the courtroom packed with curious onlookers and those seeking justice for Dustin. Reporters from across the country descended upon the small town, their cameras capturing every moment of the high-stakes drama. The public was divided, with some seeing Tracy as a victim of circumstance, while others viewed her as a manipulative mastermind. The prosecution presented a compelling case, weaving together the inconsistencies in her story, the chilling discovery of the notebook, and the pattern of manipulation that defined her past. They argued that the notebook found in Dustin's possession was a plant, a piece of evidence meant to frame him posthumously. The defense, on the other hand, struggled to counter the narrative, their arguments often falling flat against the prosecution's relentless assault. On November 4th, 2011, the jury delivered their verdict: guilty. The courtroom fell silent, the weight of the decision hanging heavy in the air. Tracy's face remained impassive, but the tension was palpable. The jurors, having spent hours deliberating, had found the evidence against her overwhelming. Tracy Richter was sentenced to life in prison, her claims of innocence falling on deaf ears. The judge's gavel came down with finality, sealing her fate. As she was led away in handcuffs, the courtroom buzzed with a mix of relief and sorrow. For some, justice had been served, for others, questions still lingered. To this day, she maintains her innocence, fighting for an appeal. Her voice a lone cry against a verdict she believes is a grave miscarriage of justice. From behind bars, she continues to assert that she acted in self-defense, that the true story has yet to be told. Her supporters rally behind her, hoping for a breakthrough that might turn the tide in her favor. The case of Tracy Richter, a tale of deception, murder, and a mother's unwavering fight for freedom, continues to captivate and divide, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most seemingly ordinary lives. It serves as a stark illustration of how complex and multifaceted the search for truth and justice can be, leaving an indelible mark on all those who follow its twists and turns.